Okay, after a short break, we're back. Well, last time we saw you was Monday when I finished getting wheat planted. And then between Monday night and Tuesday, Monday night and Tuesday till like noonish, depending on your location, we had anywhere between about an inch to an inch. Well, I think actually the lowest number I heard was 8/10. So somewhere between 8/10 and an inch and a half of rain, depending on where you were at. So that should make the wheat happy. Hopefully here in the next couple days we start seeing that coming out of the ground. So, needless to say, not much happened Tuesday. By Tuesday afternoon, or Tuesday evening, the sun was out. It was actually turned into a really nice day compared to what it started out as. But Tuesday evening, I went and checked some corn to see where that was standing. It's still wet. The first field I planted, I checked the first field I planted. That one's at 26 upper, like 26.8, something like that. And then the last field I planted is 25 point something. So still wetter than what there's guys shelling right now. There's a few guys shelling, not very many. I don't think anybody wants to be shelling 370 corn and having to dry it down 15 points. Because I've heard numbers anywhere between about 14 all the way up to 32. That's the range guys are running right now. So I'm not too worried about corn yet. I want to get finished up on beans before we worry too much about corn. But those are the numbers I've been hearing so far out of corn. And then between Wednesday, or what did I do Wednesday? I had to work on the doors, the doors up on the main floor of the barn. There was some rotten wood or rotten boards that had fallen off and made a hole in the door, so I went and got some board and batten siding from Lowe's to patch that up, and Shelly got a little bit of paint slapped on it. It's a band-aid for now. I just need to make complete new doors because they've already been patched. Somebody went through about 4 foot up, sawed the bottom of them off, and made a patch for the bottom so that A, they don't match, and B, it's time to put new doors on it. But until that point comes, I got a band-aid on them. So that's what I did Wednesday. And then between Thursday and Friday, although the elevator is not officially taking beans yet, they leveled some bins off and made enough room to get some small guys unloaded, myself included. So between Thursday and Friday, I got the cart empty, Dad's truck empty, my truck empty, and I hauled the gravity box in yesterday after work. So we're all opened up again. Unfortunately, Dad's truck's off the table again because well, it was only part way on the table when we were using it last weekend, but the hydrovac that has supposedly been rebuilt, I need to get the name of that shop that she sent it to in Illinois, just so that guys know to avoid it, because that was a hack job. And it's screwed up already. So there's this place in Fort Wayne that he just bought all of his brake parts off of that does them, and he's going to get that off and actually physically drive it over there on Monday, and have them go through it, and then hopefully by next weekend, with any luck at all, we're back up to both trucks. So minor setback, major inconvenience, but it is what it is. If it's not safe to drive, then there ain't no sense in having it on the road. So, that being said, they're not expecting a train until Tuesday, and then they're going to get 3 trains back to back to back. That way this doesn't happen again. So, we're going to do the same thing today that we did last Saturday, and that's why I'm glad I didn't take the auger down because it's already set up to go. I filled the cart. I got 2 fields I want to get ran. I don't know if I'll get them all done today because the dew is drying off really slow. When that storm front came through, fall decided to show up. So now we're actually to normal fall, like low 40s at night and upper 60s, low 70s during the day, which has been very pleasant. So the dew's drying off rather slow, and the lack of a breeze isn't helping. So it might be a little bit before we get rolling here. But so fill the cart, fill my truck. I'm hoping we're gonna go do an 8-acre piece down here, which if that yields 60, it'll all fit in the big cart. I don't think it's gonna yield 60 because the deer have been in it, but it still should be. They're still pretty dang good beans, so they're hopefully mid to upper 50s. So hopefully all that fits in the cart, and then there's a 6-acre piece over there that we're gonna go. Actually had to drive past it to get here, but order of operations to make sure everything fits where it's gonna get fit, I gotta do this one first. That way I can keep everything separate for yield checks. And then there's a 6-acre piece we're gonna go to, and that should all fit on my truck and little cart. And then if I get all that done today, and then tomorrow afternoon we'll go over and start on an 11-acre piece and fill a gravity wagon again. And if I can get all that done, it'll get set up pretty good where if they start taking beans again by Tuesday, because we've got a good run of weather this week and next weekend as of right now. If we can get all that done this weekend, and that'll set me up pretty good, that if I can get rolling again Tuesday afternoon, possibly Wednesday, but either way, if I do all that, that'll get me it set up pretty good to hopefully be done cutting beans by next Sunday at the latest. Because that'll leave, I'll have an 11-acre piece over here, a 14-acre piece over there, and then the 23 acres down in the muck left after I get done what I know I can get done. And that 11 acres over here will be started. So, like I say, it should set us up pretty good to hopefully be done with beans by next weekend. So, but we've got to get everything set up. I have to grease the combine, wash the windows. It's already fueled up. And then we're good to go. So, but real quick, I want to slip the PTO shaft apart on the auger because it was a little stiff, and get some WD-40 on it. So, hold on. Okay, I got that PTO shaft lubed up. If it was a brand new shaft, I'd use grease. That thing, it's a square. First off, it's a rectangle shaft, so a little different than a triangle one. But I found on these older shafts, especially if they've already been stuck once, which that one was froze solid when I bought the auger. It's been full of rust. It's got old petrified grease in it, and I found on them old PTOs, if they've been like that at least once before, you put grease in them, and all the grease does is pick up all the rust and the petrified grease and whatnot, and just starts balling up in there and makes the shaft move harder. So I use WD-40, so it actually goes in there and kind of breaks that stuff up, and if you work it enough, it'll actually start pushing it out. And then you get it cleaned up enough with WD-40, and then eventually you can start putting grease back on it like normal. This should be good. I checked it. I hauled that wagon in with it yesterday. Yeah, we're good. Part of me wants to see if the 66 will run this thing. I mean, if it was good and shined up, it should, but since it's nasty and crusty, I really don't want to plug an auger. So we'll just keep running it until we know where. This is another one. The water hemp just came out of nowhere. Don't know why, don't know where. And I resprayed this. You can see my tracks. And I got some of it, but I didn't get all of it, obviously. And it's only in the spots that lay wet. Apparently water hemp. These front end rows here lay wet. There's that wet hole right there. And then there's some in the wet hole right there, and then the rest of the field is almost non-existent. So it's just very weird. But these, compared to 2 years ago when I had beans out here and they made 19 bushel an acre. Them are a little doughy. Well, hopefully they cut today. You guys have been running beans since Thursday, so surely they're dry enough by now. Interesting. We might not be cut until tomorrow. That would suck. Huh. Interesting. Might have to go check. I mean, we had a slight chance of some rain last night, but I don't think it came through. You know, those are little gumballs. Them ain't gonna cut. That sucks. Well, we might have to come up with another plan here. That one cracked. That one smashed. Dang it. Okay, what do these beans look like? This feels more open. And the pods are dry. Oops. No, I just flipped all those all over the ground. This is hard to do one-handed. Oh, those are doughy too. Huh. And guys have been running, but I wonder if they've been running wet beans so if they could blend them in with all their 8 and 9% beans to bring the moisture back up to 12. So I got one friend I talked to Wednesday, said he was going to try to do that. He wanted to cut a bunch of wet ones because he had a bunch of dry ones in the stirrator bin. and you want to get some wet ones to blend off, bring the moisture back up. I wonder if that's what guys have been doing. That's doughy. Well, shit. That kind of screws up today's plans. I thought for sure the way guys have been running, they were back down dry, but today should be good drying weather. It's supposed to be sunny like this. So hopefully, at this point it doesn't matter if I leave the combine sit or try to move. It doesn't really matter because I can't go nowhere that's dry. So, well, that's disappointing. Well, fingers crossed we can run tomorrow. So I guess with that being said, can't cut beans, can't shell corn. Might as well go try to do some chisel plowing, huh? Okay. The fuel guy was supposed to fill this thing. Don't know if he did or not. Sure not looking like it. That's disappointing. I need to get a... Nope, they did not. Come on, guys. I thought he was down here filling the tank when I was down planting wheat Monday, and I thought it didn't look like he was down here very long. Ah, well. Everything else should be good because I went through and checked it a week or so ago, whenever it was, before I started harvest. I also had all this bird crap cleaned up, and now there's bird crap again. But I don't see any dead birds this time. I really want to know where the heck they're getting in and out of this, because there ain't no holes big enough. Like, I can't get a finger through there. Like, where they can't get up through there. Maybe somehow, I don't know. Do not know. It's a weird one. Need to figure that out. Okay, so according to the manual, you're supposed to be able to get all of your depth adjustment on this with that turnbuckle. You shouldn't have to use depth stops. It's according to the manual. You should be able to adjust it from 4 inches deep to 12 inches deep. So, need to get this thing busted loose. We're going to take this depth stop off. Yeah. And then I guess we gotta go stick it in the ground and see where we're at. And then if you lengthen that pushes back on that, which is going to pick the cylinder up, which is going to put it further in the ground. If you shorten it, that's going to pull forward, push down on the cylinder, which is going to pick it up. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens. Okay, we'll go stick it in the ground here and see what happens. I don't see any way physically possible with the stroke that cylinder has, because if you lengthen that rod, that's going to push back on that bell crank. It's going to pick up on the cylinder, which is going to make it go deeper. So we can shorten this, but that's not going to gain me much. Okay, so two things. The rod, or that cylinder's got extra rod, so it is actually stroked out right now. And the way the geometry is on this, that little bit actually goes a fairly long ways. So right now, if you look at the tires, I'm probably at like 8 inches deep. Minus whatever suck it's gonna have. So I guess let's try this. to work on. I'm probably gonna have to go up one more, except now the plow's rocked back. So we might have to pull it back up on the level and unhook it real quick, but that doesn't look too terrible. There's the bottom of the trench right there, so that's... I have to get a tape measure. That's every bit of 12 inches. Can honestly probably shallow it up just a touch more. But yeah, the plow's now rocked back, so I'll have to go up to there, move the clevis up one hole, which by the rust mark, that's where it was originally, with one more hole up. So that'll level the plow out, which will also help it pull easier. So we'll do that real quick. Okay, I got the hitch moved up. Didn't you have to unhook it from the tractor? I just used the jack and got the tension off of it, and that was it. Let me get the bolt out, and then I just lowered the plow down and everything lined right back up to get a bolt in, so that was handy. But I got a handy dandy tape measure so that we can get an actual check of our depth. Because it seems like it's, I mean, she's socking it in the ground pretty good. Okay, I'm actually kind of impressed how much soil moisture is here, if we're being perfectly honest. This is beautiful for plowing. That right there. Feels like about the bottom. Yep, that's the bottom for sure. So where are we at? Yep, that's 12 inches. Right on the money. Well, I guess we'll run her for a little while and see what happens. All right, there is her first 7 acres successfully chiseled. I was running second B range, which according to the dash in the tractor and my phone both was 4 miles an hour. Actually, dash said 4.1. So not too terrible. I probably could have went to 2C, but in this small field it was plenty. We get into something bigger, I'll try it, but this is a lot to handle in a field that's shaped like that. So 4 mile an hour was plenty. But if we're going to do any more, I got to dump some fuel in it, because the fuel light in the dash works when the fuel sending unit decides to work correctly. So she's getting low on fuel. I'm a little disappointed that my fuel guy didn't fill it like he's supposed to, but ah well. So let me dump some fuel in here and we'll go try to grab another. Alright, I just got out here. This is one of the other wheat fields. I had a little 2-acre piece in town. I just went and ran. This is my first pass out here, and I just happened to notice this. I guess this we got, ooh, that still smells bad. Wonder if there's more out here. I guess last year we had EHD come through in the fall. This year, I guess we have blue tongue has been making its rounds. I was talking to a buddy Wednesday. I stopped over to his shop, and he said that one of his neighbors found 7 dead deer in one field. They all died of blue tongue. So they aren't out of the woods yet. These two are just about perfect for each other. I got out here and I was like, we're gonna try it. So I jumped up to C range. Pulls it like nothing. I kept an eye on the parameter and my engine coolant temperature, and coolant temperature stayed about 178, which is only about 4 degrees warmer than what it runs pulling the soil finisher, and pyrometer ran about 950, which is not bad at all. I guess I'd be curious next time I'm chiseling. I'll have to remember to grab my thermal gun and shoot the manifold and see if the thermal gun matches the pyrometer, to see how accurate the pyrometer is. But all in all, I am very impressed with how it works. 4 more feet of plow doesn't sound like much until you have 4 more feet of plow to play with, and it's like, oh boy, we're covering some territory. And I'm kind of impressed how well it handled them weeds as thick as they were. I don't... What's that? Stick. I don't really worry too much about anything. Well, when I plant wheat, my intent is, or one of my intents with planting wheat, is to give the ground a rest from chemicals. So if at all possible, I try to avoid spraying anything unless absolutely necessary on wheat ground while I got wheat on it. And then afterwards, I just kind of let it go, and whatever happens, happens. A good pre-emerge on the corn next fall, or next spring. You'll never know the difference, but I don't know if it does any good or not, but at least it gives me it makes me feel better. Give the microbiome a chance to, well, that gives it well over a year without any herbicide application. So like I say, I don't know if it actually does any good, but it certainly can't hurt. But anyhow, that's all the ground I have to chisel, because everything else that we've harvested so far has wheat growing on it now. So we got to get some more beans cut before we can do any more chiseling. But I didn't get started until, yeah, by the time I got the plow set up, we made our test runs and then got everything going good, it was probably about 1:45, and now it's 10 to 6. So I basically did, there's 10 here, 7, 17, 19 acres, almost 20. So it's like 7 1/4 at the house, at mom and dad's house. 2 1/4, so yeah, it's damn near 20 acres in 4 hours with road trail, with probably, by the time I went into town and got back here, probably 6-ish, 7 miles of road travel, and to stop for a break. So, and a fuel stop, which that I count, okay, fuel stop counts as the break. That was probably 20 minutes there. So you can, like I say, 4 foot of, another 4 foot of plow doesn't sound like a lot until you got it, and then you can cover some territory, especially when you get it doing 5 miles an hour. I did this 10 in like an hour and a half, and there's some, and you get up here into these short roads, there's some dicking around. You get over around that spring where the trees are, there's some dicking around. I want to rip all them trees out and just farm through that. That'd make life easier, but one step at a time. I had to stop. You can see there's a big dead, I think it was a maple. You can see what's left of the fork sticking up in the trees right there. Big, probably 36 or so inches down at the ground. It died and 2 of the tops blew out of it, so I had to stop, clean them up. I should just cut the whole dang tree up, push it in tree line, because it's just going to be a thorn in my side. Some other 2 tops that are in it are going to blow out eventually, so I should just drop it. But we'll see how far we make it. So anyhow, we didn't get any beans cut today, but we got to see how Elanor likes her new toy, and I think she likes it a lot. So success. I think it was a good purchase. But I'm gonna get this back and park it and go check on beans, see how much drying they did, and hopefully tomorrow we can actually get some beans cut. So with that being said, that's it for this one, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.